Oh, look at Ryan Bradley making a beautiful move against air. Austin James, like he normally does, misses on an uncontested layup. Oh my gosh.
Nick, how many dunks do you think we're going to see today?
I think we're going to see -7, to be quite honest with you. I think that people are going to not only not be able to dunk, but miss on every time they try. I think we're going to get 7 dunk attempts. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Canisius High School. We have a very intriguing and awesome matchup on tap for you guys here tonight. It is the 2017 regular season Monsignor Martin basketball champion St. Francis Red Raiders visiting the 2017 Monsignor Martin champion Canisius High School Crusaders. It's my pleasure to be joined by Jack Collins. And Jack, going to be a good matchup here tonight. What are you looking for to see, how this game's going to play out?
Well, Nick, as you said, last year in the Monsignor Martin Finals, Canisius played St. Francis, but we're going to see a very different St. Francis team today. Only one starter from last year, Bo Sarica. He's the only one returning. They graduated 2 seniors. Two of their guards transferred to Lockport and Timon, respectively. So it's going to be a different team that we're going to see today.
So
but I think they're locked and loaded, and they should be ready to go.
For sure. So St. Francis comes in with a 10-8 record, 4-3 record in Monsignor Martin League play. And we talked about it in our meetings before the game here tonight. They're scrappy and well-coached and have had some tough losses this year, but those tough losses have given these players a reason to believe that they can pull off maybe an upset here tonight.
Sure. And, Nick, if they're shooting well, I don't think they can be stopped tonight.
Well, the key to basketball shooting, putting
That's
the
very
ball
true.
in the basket. We'll see if they can do that tonight. And, of course, the major man for St. Francis is Bo Sarica. He's the one that the offense goes through. So we'll talk about that more in a moment as we take a break for the national anthem and player introductions by the great Bryce Hopkins. So a fantastic national anthem that was only interrupted by one iPhone notification. Props to Coach Hopkins for that one. So as we were talking about before we were interrupted by the anthem, is that Bo Sarica is really the key player to watch for St. Francis here tonight. He averages nearly 14 points a game, and most of the offense really runs through him for St. Francis.
And that's going to be their biggest player that Canisius has to stop tonight. The motion offense that St. Francis runs is able to get these guys open for open shots. But I think once they're open, I think if they stop Bo Sarica and kind of shut him down one-on-one with a no-help defense, I think he'll score some points, but if they hold him to under 12 points, I think they're going to have a tough game against this tough Canisius defense.
A strategy, of course, that we saw in a game that you played in last season, the Monsignor Martin Championship game, you know, that Colby Moultrie did a great job of shutting Sarica down and denying him the ball. He did a good job of that, and that was really a big key for Canisius eventually becoming victorious last season. Again, a different team, but a similar sort of defensive strategy for Canisius.
Sure. Last year we had, I think our two biggest players that we had to stop were Sarica and Julian Cunningham, and Jace Johnson and Colby Moultrie did a great job playing one-on-one against those two guys.
Cunningham, of course, now one of those transfers at Bishop Timon. We saw him earlier this season. So really the keys for St. Francis, if they are hoping to pull off an upset, was, you know, of course, making shots, as we mentioned, and have Bo Sarica play really well. Do not allow Canisius to deny him the ball and do not allow himself to be defended and make those shots. The other thing that we had mentioned was see if St. Francis can attack Ryan Bradley and get him into foul trouble, because if he's not in foul trouble and he's on the floor, it doesn't look like St. Francis has much that they could throw at Ryan Bradley to stop him.
Definitely, and in a game earlier this month against Bishop Kearney, he got into foul trouble, and that was a very close game that they had to come back and win. So if St. Francis can find a way to get Bradley into foul trouble, I think that's going to be key, because I don't think there's a guy on St. Francis who can stop him one-on-one.
I agree. We haven't seen too many so far this season. Ryan Bradley has been absolutely fantastic for Canisius thus far. So we are just about ready to get it going here at Canisius. Bradley to take the tip for the Crusaders. Bartholomew is the tip man for St. Francis. It's won by Canisius, and they will go on offense first. Here's Ryan Bradley, as we mentioned, down low and in the post, but he attempted a wild shot that would not go. Rebound St. Francis.
He missed there, but that's what they've got to do all night. They got to feed him inside, because I don't think Bartolomeo is going to be able to guard him all game long.
St. Francis working on offense now. Ivy moving to Thieslin, who's defended well by Bradley on the far wing. Good defense by Canisius here early. Sarica now the ball, defended by McDonald. They'll move to Ivy and an errant pass, and some great defense here early from Canisius.
And you saw a little bit on that possession of how they're going to stop Bo Sarica. And they had Jace Johnson on last time, so I think they're going to give a full effort from Jace on a Bo and see how far that takes him.
Jace, of course, probably, arguably, as Jace goes up and is fouled, he'll go to the free throw line, fouled in the act of shooting. Jace is probably the best defender on Canisius. His third year being a varsity player, won the Western New York Sixth Man of the Year his sophomore year, and has played some really solid defense in all 3 years as a varsity Crusader. This year being no different. Jace's first free throw attempt is good. Jace shooting 56% from the line this season, averaging about 5 free throw attempts per game. Jace's second is good as well.
Canisius is coming out in their 1-2-2 full court press, which is tough to stop.
St. Francis looks like they have a little bit of trouble there, are able to get it over the front court, and we're going to get a travel called as an early turnover for St. Francis. An effective use of that zone. A good job by Canisius defensively here early.
St. Francis fell right in that trap, getting the ball right over half court and having nowhere to go.
Trapper on the wing finds Ryan Bradley. McDonald now. James looks to drive. He lost it. It goes off of him and out of bounds. St. Francis basketball. Justin Pompey now as Canisius relaxes the press for the moment. Pompey looks to create a little bit of room. Thought about a shot, didn't take it, made a pass inside, but could not hit Bartholomew. But a foul is called. They say on McDonald. His first and the team first tonight. Thieslin on the inbound, guarded by Johnson. Moves to Ivy now. Ivy on the near wing, attempted a wild shot and did not even hit the backboard. Jace Johnson looks to move in transition. Jace, a nice move, crossover drive, cannot finish. Rebound Trapper. And here comes Austin James for three. He had it open but could not hit. McDonald had some room. Will now throw it to Jace in the low post, and we're going to get a travel called.
And again, even though they lost possession on that play, you saw 2 offensive rebounds and moving the ball great.
That, of course, has been a key for Canisius so far this season. They've done a fantastic job of rebounding, especially on the offensive glass, and creating those extra opportunities. There's a turnover on the offensive end for St. Francis. Austin James went the other way, attempted a behind-the-back pass.
That's one where you just got to jump stop, make a pass to Bradley for the easy layup.
Austin wanted a bit of a highlight reel pass there, but could not execute it. It's a tough thing to do, so maybe not try it, as you said. I agree. St. Francis on the offensive end now, a jump stop and a fadeaway jumper that will rattle in for Lucas Thiessen for St. Francis's first points of the night. And Canisius on the offensive end is going to have Brendan Trapper called for a traveling violation, St. Francis basketball. Pompey moving the ball. Here's Sirica, defended as he has been all night by Jace Johnson. Pompey again. Sirica got some open room on the near wing, but could not hit it. It rattled out. Ryan Bradley the rebound, and will push in transition for Canisius. Slows it down a bit. Here comes Jace Johnson, who thought about a drive, makes a nice pass inside, and Ryan Bradley will throw it up off the glass and in. A nice pass and a nice look from Jace Johnson.
As well as being a great defender, Jace is a great passer as well. And that's why this Canisius team is so successful.
Saw that one right there. A great pass from Jace. Thieslin now. A contested three from Ivy is no good, but the rebound will go off of Jace Johnson, and St. Francis will keep possession.
You saw a little bit on that last St. Francis possession how Bosarica got open look on when Canisius didn't switch properly. That's going to be one that they got to look at and fix.
Here's a look off the inbound. That is good. It looked like Dorian Ivy who put it in. It was. McDonald on the far wing tried to get it to Bradley in the post, and it deflected off of a St. Francis player, so Canisius will keep possession. 4-4, 4:19 to go in the first quarter. Jace to inbound on the offensive end. Canisius looking to free someone open. Jace finds James off the inbound. Bradley got a little bit of room. A straight on three, no good. Long rebound comes out. Teams fight for it, but St. Francis comes away with it. Here comes Dorian Ivy the other way. He will slow it down and find Pompey. Here comes Bo Sirica, a nice pass, and a three in the near corner is good for Lucas Thieslin. Jace Johnson now looking to answer on the offensive end for Canisius. Finds Ryan Bradley on the block, but he was fouled. So far, again early, but so far so good for St. Francis in making those shots as we mentioned at the open. Here's a look for Ryan Bradley that will just rattle out, and a rebound from Pompey. Here comes Thieslin now. Finds Sarika. Defended by Brendan Trapper. He'll move to Bartholomew. And Pompey now. Bartholomew went up for it, but got blocked.
Good help defense from Brendan Trapper there.
By Ryan Bradley, and good defense, as you mentioned, by Trapper to help as well. Here's McDonald now on the offensive end. Was looking for some room, finds Austin James, who jumped and thought about a three, but didn't take it. Austin tried to get it down low to Bradley, and now it's kicked out to Trapper, who fakes his shot. Jace, and the pass went to Jace, but he traveled. Substitution for Canisius. Dwayne Vass will come in. Jace Johnson will check out. Good defense by St. Francis here early as well.
Coach Ferris has got to be happy about that possession.
For sure. Sarika, a nice crossover move, but he gets blocked by Ryan Bradley. Canisius recovers the basketball and will move in transition. Bradley found Austin James, but he could not handle it. It goes off a St. Francis player, however, and Canisius will keep possession. Connor McCaffrey now checks in to the game for Canisius as Brendan Trapper exits. Canisius going with a bit of a smaller look. McDonald got some room for three, but he airballed it. St. Francis picks it up and goes the other way. Here comes Pompey, and he gets fouled. Ryan Bradley guilty of the foul there. It was in the act of shooting, so Pompey will shoot two. First one is no good. It was a bit too strong. I'm really impressed by the St. Francis defense so far.
I am too, and they're forcing Canisius into some bad shots, and that's one thing that Canisius has been good with throughout this whole season so far.
Pompey missed the second as well, so an empty trip to the free throw line for St. Francis. Dwayne Vass, defended by Pompey, finds Ryan Bradley on the near wing. A nice pass from McDonald to Bradley on the wing, and he finds a wide open Dwayne Vass for an easy layup. A nice pass by Bradley.
They wanted to get to Bradley inside,
sure.
but he was smart enough to know that Dwayne Vass was cutting with no one on him. He drew like three guys on him on that possession.
He did, and a turnover for St. Francis on the other end. As we mentioned, there wasn't likely anybody who could defend Ryan Bradley and match up favorably for St. Francis. Maybe they figure if they put three guys on him that'll even the odds there, but it didn't work on that possession. A good job by Bradley to find the open Vass. He was wide open. Bradley now drives. Nice pass from Vass, but he could not finish. Sarika the rebound, and will carry up to the front court for the Red Raiders. Pompey looking to create some offense and some ball movement. He will pass it to Ivy, who's defended by Austin James. Ivy looks to drive. A nice move.
Good
and
defense
go off
by
the glass.
James.
No good. And Bradley will come away with the rebound and push for Canisius. Bradley finds Austin James, who thought about a three, and in thinking about it, he traveled. Another turnover for Canisius.
That's a third travel already for Canisius in the first quarter. And you just see there, Austin's coming out for his fair call.
It almost seems like they're out of rhythm a little bit here early tonight.
And as we saw in the Niagara Catholic game the other day, it was a close game up until the first half. So I think Coach Husband was probably preaching that for Canisius to get off a quick start, and they have not so far.
Sarika now thought about a shot on the wing, and he got it. He got fouled, rather. Foul goes to Connor McCaffrey. Sarika now defended by Dwayne Vass. Miller moves to Sarika. Finds Palmer, excuse me. Ivy looks to drive now on the near wing. He cannot finish. Rebound Canisius. Dwayne Voss looks to push. A little bit of an advantage for Canisius. Dwayne goes right up, but gets fouled in the act of shooting, so Dwayne will go and shoot two.
St. Francis coach is not happy about that call.
I thought it was a pretty clear foul.
I thought it was too.
Maybe I missed it, but as you know, he is not one to agree with officials very often. He is often barking at them. Perhaps a matter of coaching style. Dwayne Voss's first free throw is off the mark, a bit too strong. Voss is shooting 71% from the free throw line thus far.
And he made a big play in the Bishop Kearney comeback win the other day.
Voss's second free throw attempt is up and good, and we're all knotted up inside a minute.
Dwayne's only a sophomore, but he's becoming a big role in this Canisius team so far.
I agree. He had a really great effort play at the end of the Park game in which Canisius fell. Empty trip on the offensive end for St. Francis. Rebound, Austin James. Shot clock is turned off inside 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Game tied at 7, a low-scoring affair. Looks as if Canisius will hold for the last shot. Dwayne will now get the offense moving with 12 seconds to go. John Evans, who's checked into the game, passes to Jace Johnson, who looks to direct traffic with 8 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Austin James defended, will catch and shoot a three. That one was way off, and the ball will go out of bounds.
Another
but it will stay
poor shot from Canisius.
With Canisius, 9/10 of a second left.
But they've still got time left for another shot.
St. Francis will make a last-minute substitution. Noah Unger will come in, likely for defensive purposes. 9/10 of a second left. Jace, the inbound, but could not get a clean look at all. He got it stripped. And that will conclude matters here in the first quarter. A 7-7 game after 8 minutes of play. Jack Collins, what did you like, what did you not like about Canisius in the first quarter?
Canisius' shot selection was not good, not at all. I expected them to come out to a quick start, you know, only being up by Niagara Catholic at half by 1 point. I expected Coach Husband to preach a quick start, quick pace to the game, get out and run, but I haven't seen that at all. And on the other side, St. Francis is making some good shots. They're playing good defense, but I think Canisius has to do a lot better.
I'm sure he preached it. I'm sure it's just been a little bit on the execution end that has probably failed the Crusaders here early. So with that said, Canisius holds St. Francis, though, to 7 points, so maybe a good job on the defensive end at least. So some positive to be taken from the first quarter.
Sure, but St. Francis did miss some open looks that I don't think they can miss much more often if they want a chance to win this game.
Second quarter just about to start. We get an inbound right at half court, right in front of our broadcasting table. The inbound goes to Justin Pompey, who is defended by Ish Fairclough. Bo Sarica now with the ball on the near wing. Bo looks to drive, gets some help on a pick, looking to create some room. Finds Bartholomew, but will get the ball back. Bo defended by Jace Johnson. Looks like they're sticking Johnson on Sarica. A nice pass outside, but it looks like we're going to get a foul called on the charge, an offensive foul on St. Francis. It'll be Canisius basketball.
They keep track of those charging calls, so that was a big play by Austin James.
The St. Francis bench not exactly thrilled with that call as well. Got some barking from that side of the court. Austin James now looking to create some offense. Tried to find Bradley, got his pass tipped, and it will go out of bounds. Canisius keeps possession. Substitution for St. Francis. Emil Collins will come in. Justin Pompey comes out. John Evans now. Off the inbound finds Jace Johnson. Johnson looks to drive. A nice move off the glass.
Good take by Jace. That's what he's got to do. He's got to start taking over. If they don't guard him down there, go for a layup. And if they do, he's great at passing the ball.
That's something that we saw a lot in that last game of the season last year, as we're going to get a foul called on the offensive end for St. Francis. Lucas Thiessen tried to go up and make a shot, but he was fouled. I apologize. I believe that was Ivy, not Thiessen. But it was something that we saw in the game the last game of the season, the state semifinal against Chaminade, where Jace really took over the game in the second half. It wasn't enough for you guys to come back and ultimately win, but he did a fantastic job in the back end of that game to really take over, and was really a big reason why that game was competitive in the second half. The ball, after a shot by St. Francis, will go out of bounds. Canisius possession. Canisius works it around. Jace looks to drive. A nice move and another crafty finish from Jace Johnson. Thiessen moves to Ivy, now finds Collins, who got some room from three, but that one is way off the mark and out of bounds. Maybe the second best basketball Collins in the gym here tonight.
That's right.
Jace Johnson now on the offensive end for Canisius. Guarded by Sirica, now finds Ryan Bradley. Canisius looking to work the ball around. Jace in the post, looks to back down, go up, but he got it stripped away. No foul call. And St. Francis will go the other way. Thiessen now will go up for a layup, no good, but he is fouled. And the foul will be charged to Ryan Bradley. As we mentioned at the open, Bo Sirica, likely the best offensive player on St. Francis. Thiessen hits his first. It's good. So we knew there was going to be a lot of attention on him, but it's really been Thiessen who's got 6 early points for St. Francis, who has been the focal point of their offense.
And he's had to step into a much larger role this season with the departures of Julian Cunningham, Devin Durrell, and Robert Welch. So he's done a fine job today.
Thiessen hit his second. Now Canisius on the offensive end up 2. Here with 5:37 to go in the second quarter. Jace got it poked away, but regains possession, and we're going to get I don't even know what the heck that is, but nonetheless, it's going to be St. Francis basketball. I don't know if it was sort of a blocking foul, moving screen, something like that. Refs weren't exactly clear, but nonetheless.
And one of our keys to the game, Ryan Bradley's already out of the game with 2 fouls.
Right. St. Francis doing a good job of executing their game plan and formula for a potential upset, as they've got it 11-9 here in the second quarter. Here comes St. Francis. It was Palmer who tried to go down the lane, but he got it blocked away. Here comes Jace on the other end, and he gets fouled. Again, the St. Francis bench does not like that call. I guess it's just what they do. They complain to refs, but
I don't think they're going to agree with anything that doesn't go their way today.
Well, that's the way it appears. I thought that one was a pretty clear foul. Jace looks like he got hit, maybe a bit shaken up, but he's a tough kid. He'll shake it off. He looks all right. Jace's free throw, the first one is good. He's 3 for 3 from the line here tonight as he walks around looking to walk it off a little bit. Looks like he got hit in the leg. Canisius 12, St. Francis 9, 5:08 to go in the second quarter. Jace's second free throw is up and good. Substitution for Canisius. Connor McCaffrey will check in. Jace Johnson will exit. Bosarica now on the offensive end for St. Francis. Moves to Bartholomew. Now Thiessen. Stepped back, thought about a shot. He'll find an open St. Francis player. It was no good. That was Joshua Palmer. Here comes Thiessen, another open look, and this time he hits. And a timeout is called by Coach Husband and Canisius. Canisius 13, St. Francis 12, 4:42 to go in the second quarter. Not exactly the start Canisius was looking for here tonight.
Absolutely not. And that open look, they got an offensive rebound. That does not make Coach Husband happy, let me tell you.
St. Francis, a team that probably is not the biggest. They don't have great size. Certainly not comparable to Canisius, but they do a very good job of being scrappy and fighting and getting those rebounds, especially on the offensive glass as they did there. They have rebounded well in the past. For example, Justin Pompey is only 5'10", but he leads the team with 6 rebounds a game, so just a bunch of scrappy players, and you see that here tonight as they're looking to come in on the road and shock Canisius here tonight. They've done a good job so far. We'll see if they can sustain this. McDonald now looking for some room, finds Trapper in the low post. Dwayne Voss had some room, straightaway 3, puts it in. Good ball movement by Canisius, and Voss was good for 3. Here comes St. Francis the other way.
Good help defense from Trapper there to move over.
It was Palmer who got it knocked away, and now Canisius comes on the other end. McDonald's got some room.
But he was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds. McDonald did not like that call. Coach Husband does not like that call. Regardless, that was the call. It'll be St. Francis basketball. I don't know if any of the coaches or the players are going to like the calls that go against them here tonight.
That's just how it goes.
Well. Can't we just all get along? Sarica now. Near corner, defended by Austin James. Thiessen now look to create some offense. Here's a 3-point attempt that is too strong and no good. Off the hand of Dorian Ivey. Rebound Canisius. Trapper got some room for 3 in transition. No good, but Austin James did a great job of following. He tried, you knew he wanted to dunk that one, but he couldn't. He got fouled, but a putback regardless. Austin is good on a great effort play. He's able to follow Trapper's shot. He did a good job of hustling. He banks it off the glass and in. He gets the 2 and an opportunity for 1 more.
He gave a little stare down after that one too. Great play.
And that is likely what Coach Husband applauds and is looking for. A great effort by Austin to come and follow that shot. His 3rd shot no good, but a rebound by McDonald, and he'll go up and in.
Great job by Trapper to tip that back.
Thiessen now for St. Francis as Canisius has widened their lead to 8 now. Sarica fakes the shot, looks to drive, makes a pass. Palmer kicks out to Thiessen. Thiessen, a jump shot, about a 17-footer, but that one is no good. Rebound by Austin James. Here comes Austin in transition. Austin finds Dwayne Voss, but he stepped out of bounds. A travel, rather. He did not step out of bounds. They rule a travel. So St. Francis will get the basketball down 8 here inside of 3 minutes to go in the first half. Thiessen finds Sarica. Now over to Collins. Dorian Ivey finds Collins. And now Sarica. St. Francis moving the basketball around on the perimeter, but here comes a drive from Thiessen. It was rejected by Trapper. Here comes Austin James the other way, finds Jace Johnson. He's open for 3, puts it in.
His ankle looks okay after that one.
St. Francis looking to answer. Canisius has done a good job in the last few minutes of widening their lead. We're going to get a foul called on the defensive end for Canisius. It is on Jace Johnson. That is Canisius' 7th team foul, so Sirica will shoot 1 and 1. The front end is good. Sirica on the board now. That's his first point of the game. His second free throw attempt is up and good as well. Canisius has done a great job of keeping him in check. If they can handle Thiessen, who scored 10 points here early, maybe they can make some widen the gap in their lead. Jace Johnson missed a three-point attempt, but an offensive rebound for Canisius. Austin James tried to make a move but could not shake free. And Johnson will regather the offense. Ball movement on the perimeter for Canisius. Jace thought about a drive but lost his dribble, finds Austin. And a crossover jump shot right in rhythm, and a nice job by Austin to hit that one, about an 18-foot jump shot. Ivy finds Thiessen, his shot off the mark, and a rebound by Canisius. Dwayne Voss looking to push the tempo. He stopped and thought about it, and tried rather, a jump shot. That was no good from about the free throw line. The ball will go out of bounds, and it will be Canisius basketball. A minute and 21 to go in the first half, and Canisius has certainly created some distance between St. Francis. It is 25-14.
You know, Canisius is getting a lot of more better looks here, and that's why they're up now 11 points. I think St. Francis is kind of stagnant on offense. They're not really doing their motion offense to their best potential.
A 13-2 run here as we finish up the first half. And as you said, Canisius doing a good job of finding those looks, and much of that has to be attributed to Jace Johnson really taking over this game.
Sure, he's done a great job. Obviously, he made the three there, but just distributing the basketball and getting other guys open looks. He's done a great job in this second quarter so far.
And also not to be overlooked as well, Canisius, I think, has picked it up on the defensive end as well, and that's led to some easy transition buckets too.
Their help defense on the other side, getting over to prevent an easy layup or easy shot, has been fantastic so far.
Canisius looking to extend their lead. Brendan Trapper had it on the baseline, but he got it knocked away. Bo Sirica will move in transition for St. Francis. He made a nice move. It will go, his shot will rattle out, and the ball's on the floor now, and Sirica dives for it. And we're going to get a timeout called. I believe they granted Sirica the timeout when he dove on the floor. It'll be St. Francis basketball.
Canisius' strategy of trying to limit Sirica has paid off so far. He's only got 2 points, but on the other end, he's doing a great job on Nick McDonald. He hasn't had any open looks so far from three.
It's good when, of course, you are Canisius, and as important and as well as McDonald has played so far this season, that if St. Francis in this case puts Sirica, their best defender, on McDonald, you still have so many other options to go to with Bradley and with Jace Johnson, and even Bradley has sat out a majority of this second quarter with being in foul trouble. So,
and don't forget about Austin James
right,
too. He can shoot the ball with the best of them.
What a fantastic putback he had earlier as well. I was looking forward to a Park 2.0 there where he did a nice job of rising up, and he had a fantastic putback, one of the best dunks I've ever seen earlier this season. I was looking for another dunk like that. He was not able to finish it, but more importantly, he was able to finish through the contact and award himself a three-point play.
And the one dribble jump shot that he showed just a few minutes ago, just so smooth.
Such a rhythm shooter as he has been all year, and you could tell he was in rhythm right there. And here's St. Francis off the inbound. They got a good look for Dorian Ivy. He could not put it in, but he is fouled. So it will be 2 free throw shots for Ivy. inside a minute to go in the first half. Ivy's first is up and no good, a bit too strong. Ivy's second is good. So 1 out of 2, a 10-point lead for Canisius. Jace Johnson looking to direct traffic. The ball went off his foot and out of bounds. A turnover and St. Francis ball. Lucas Thiessen now. St. Francis' leading scorer with 10 points so far in this game. He made another nice move. Puts it off the glass and in, and one.
And I just complimented Canisius for their help defense. It was nowhere to be found on that one.
Nonetheless, a nice move on the dribble crossover by Thiessen, and a nice job to drive to the lane. No help, and Thiessen made Canisius pay. His and one is up, no good. It'll go off of Canisius, though, and St. Francis will keep possession. We talked to Nick McDonald earlier today about this matchup, and he really had high praise for Lucas Thiessen and about how well he had improved going into this season, and was very complimentary of him. We can see it here tonight, 12 points here in the first half. Collins now finds Dorian Ivy, who looks to drive off the glass, no good, but we're going to get another foul called. And is it in the act of shooting? It was, so Ivy will go to the line and shoot two. St. Francis doing a good job of responding to the Canisius run. They've started playing a little bit better here, down the stretch. Ivy's first one is no good.
This is exactly what Canisius doesn't want before the half. They don't want to give St. Francis any breathing room.
For sure, they've perhaps relaxed the defense a little bit, as you mentioned earlier. The help defense was not there on the attempt earlier from Thiessen, where he got fouled and was able to finish. The second one for Ivy is good, and a 7-point game and a 7-point lead for Canisius here with 28 seconds to go in the second quarter. Dwayne Voss now with the shot clock turned off. It looks like Canisius will hold for the final shot. Voss just dribbling it barely into the front court. Now Chase Johnson on the near wing. Canisius will get into their offense inside 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go. Austin James finds McDonald. He'll take a long three, no good. It was short, and that will conclude matters here in the first half. Canisius 25, St. Francis 18. A 7-point lead for the Crusaders as they head into the locker room. As the players walk by and into the locker room, Canisius a 7-point lead, as I just mentioned, at half. So, Mr. Collins, what is your overall assessment of Canisius' performance in the first half?
Well, I don't think Coach Husband is too happy about his first half from his players, but I think he's got to remember they're still up 7, and they did not play a great half. So I think if they come out, go on a run like they had, like you said, a 13-2 run, if they come out like that, St. Francis is going to have no chance of coming back in this game. And it starts with keeping up their level of defense that they showed prior to the first minute of the first half, and continuing to find open looks. Jace Johnson distributing the ball and pushing the ball up the floor is going to be key.
As always, a huge key for Canisius has been their defense all year. It's really what's made them so successful. They've, fluctuated a little bit in their ability to shoot. Some games they're really on shooting the basketball, sometimes not so much, but their defense, for the most part, has really been fantastic all season long, and we'll see if that can help them to gain some more, gain a bigger lead to sort of create some separation in the second half.
I see this game a lot similar to the one that we played earlier in the season against Irondequoit. Two great defensive teams who have been having trouble to score. So I can see similarities to that game. and hopefully Canisius can pull it out in the end.
So we get some, I guess, congratulations, you'd call it, from the passers-by there. I know they want me to shout them out, so I'm not going to do that. Don't want to give them what they want. Don't want to encourage them to interrupt our broadcast as they already have. So, Canisius looking to improve on how they've played in the first half. What do you think on the offensive end they need to do to maybe create some separation as well?
Well, getting back Ryan Bradley's going to help a ton. He got into foul trouble, I think it was 5 minutes into the second quarter. So him coming back into the second half, I think is going to be a big boost to him. Again, I'd look for them to try and get the ball inside in a few of their sets, motion sets. I don't know how open McDonald's going to be for the rest of the game if they keep Sarika on him. So that being said, they got to find Austin James, and Jason Johnson's got to distribute the ball to Bradley and James. And Dwayne Vest showed that he could shoot the ball in the first half pretty well. So those are the few guys that I would key on to watch for the second half.
Something they've done, a little bit, but certainly can improve going forward into the second half. So Jace Johnson, we talked to him before this one here tonight, and he talked a little bit about this being the time that great teams become great. It was a little bit of odd phraseology, so I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he said, we need as a team to hit our stride going into playoff time. This is a very important part of the season for us because we need to be hitting our stride now and playing our best basketball as we head into the playoffs. Maybe not the best basketball they've played all year here in the first half. So, that's a bit of a struggle for them. How do you think maybe going forward into the rest of the season that they're going to sort of sustain maybe the run that they just had or the spurts where they have played well?
Well, with all the cancellations that we've seen so far this year, they're going to go into the next few weeks playing a lot of games. And it's already February. So these next 2 weeks are going to be crucial where they're going to have game after game after game. So they've got to come out with great energy each day, not only at games but at practices too, so they can get better and prepare for their next opponent.
Does that become problematic when you play so many games back-to-back? I'm sure it really tests your conditioning.
I think it can, and you saw Jace Johnson got a little shaken up with his ankle. He got it taped up. But injuries can play a huge role, and sure, it can get tiring after a while.
And on the flip side, of course, though, we saw a game earlier that Canisius played against Park where I believe they had not played in 11 days, and that was another problematic situation for them. I knew that they sort of felt they didn't come out with that spark that they usually do. It was they seemed to be a little bit rusty, so you got to guard against the flip side as well of not playing a lot, but certainly playing back-to-back and playing a lot in a short period of time can become problematic. Canisius is back at it again tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon, they play Cardinal O'Hara.
And they've got some players on that team.
You're a fan of the Cardinal O'Hara Hawks.
I think they can make a pretty good running, the Class B Monsignor Martin.
I know they did beat St. Joe's earlier this year.
Yep.
I haven't followed them too closely, but they're certainly a respectable team in the league.
Class B and the Monsignor Martins can be pretty competitive. You got Cardinal O'Hara, St. Mary's, and Niagara Catholic has proved to be a pretty dominant force in Class B this year.
I would agree. Some Class B teams that have not normally been really competitive at all with Canisius. Three of those teams that maybe was it a close game at the end? No, but they certainly were not embarrassed by playing Canisius at all. They certainly held their own and did a good job.
And last Monday they played St. Francis, and that was only like an 8-point game.
Right.
So they played with the big boys, and they've shown that they can compete.
That'll be an interesting thing to watch as the season unfolds as well. Canisius, as we mentioned, Cardinal O'Hara on Saturday, but the big matchup that everybody is looking forward to is Tuesday against Park, the rematch here at Canisius. What are you looking for in that matchup?
I didn't get a chance to see the first game against Park, but I know what kind of talent they have. And they've got some very good guards who are skilled, can shoot, and are athletic. And they've got some big guys down low that can that are great at defending guys like Ryan Bradley and Brendan Trapper.
I called that game with John Minogue, and it was certainly an interesting dynamic because I hadn't seen a team that really was able to match up with Canisius as well as Park did. Their guard's exceptional, led by Noah Hutchins, and that Park backcourt is really something special. They are really fantastic, and you almost run out of superlatives. The way they move the basketball and the way they shoot. Daniel Scott as well, who played a fantastic game, especially in the first half when Canisius fell to Park, and we'll see how that matchup plays up next Tuesday. But
there's no team that can match up with Canisius better than Park.
Right. As the St. Francis Red Raiders make their way back out onto the court, and followed closely by the Canisius Crusaders, who hold a 7-point lead here as we come up on the beginning of the second half, about 2.5 minutes before we resume action rather.
But playing that Park game in here is going to be a little different environment for those Park Pioneers.
I'm expecting there will be some significant media attention and some significant fan attention as well, and fan interest. That one, certainly at Park, the environment was one of the best that we've had all year. That was really such a special game, and maybe with a little bit more room here in this Canisius High School gym, that experience can maybe take it up a level here when it's here at Canisius.
Hopefully the Blue Crew can come out and give a good showing.
And hopefully we can get a really good game, just like we saw the last time. It was really an entertaining game that Park led for most, but Canisius certainly made it interesting inside a minute, doing a good job. We mentioned earlier in our broadcast, we were talking about how much Dwayne Voss has improved, and I can remember a play that Dwayne made, a great effort play to snatch away a rebound and find Nick McDonald open for three, and he hit it, and cutting the Park lead as they had led by double digits and had certainly had a comfortable lead the whole game, and was able to cut the Park lead to 5 with about 20 seconds to go. So interesting matchup that Canisius was able to, certainly stay with Park and make it competitive at the end. We'll see if they can maybe play a little bit better than they did the first time and perhaps come out with a win and a split against the Pioneers in the regular season. I also wanted to ask you, Mr. Collins, in your expert basketball opinion, do you see St. Francis at all being a factor in the Monsignor Martin playoffs, and do you feel they can make a run?
I definitely think they can make a run. Similar to our Canisius team last year, they were kind of written off. We came in as the 4 seed, and no one really expected us to get past Timon or Park. But we had a great win against Timon, and then we didn't have to play Parks. We were able to match up well against St. Francis, and anything can happen in these playoffs.
Right.
It's all about who's playing well at the right time and who can defend.
And it looks like with a score of 25-18, as we are just about ready to start the second half, that both these teams can defend. And we know Canisius can defend, and I'm certainly impressed with the defense of St. Francis here early in this game in the first half. We'll see if they can continue to play that level of competitive defense for 4 quarters. And they're going to have to make a little bit of a run. They trail by 7, so we'll see if they can get it going a little bit more on the offensive end as well to convert on some of those open looks and good looks that they got in the first half that, as you stated, Coach Husband was probably not too happy about. So here we go. It'll be Canisius basketball to open up the second half. Jace Johnson dribbles to the front court, finds Austin James on a bit of a handoff.
Tried to get Bradley going back door. Found him in the post.
Bradley backs down, and an easy bucket, as you can tell. Ryan Bradley, they're looking to get him involved here early. He does a nice job on the first possession to find some room and go off the glass and in. Turnover on the other end for St. Francis. Bradley in transition finds Trapper. A nice pass and some good vision from Ryan Bradley to find Brendan Trapper, who makes the easy layup. And 4 early points for Canisius to open the second half. A good start.
The fast start that they needed.
Thiessen finds Bartholomew. A three, and it was contested, but a good job of knocking that shot down and an answer for St. Francis. Bradley now finds Trapper, who does a nice job of driving on the baseline, puts it off the glass and in. Canisius looks like they are looking to exploit their size advantage on St. Francis, getting Trapper and Bradley involved early in the second half. Thiessen tried to make a pass, got it knocked away, but regains possession. Sirica finds Pompey, who will put it off the glass and in. Jace Johnson, some ball movement for Canisius. This one here so far in the second half as they look to find Trapper. We're going to get a foul called. This one looks like the exact opposite here in the second half as it did than it did in the first half. Some early easy baskets and some early scoring, something we didn't see in a 7-7 first quarter. I apologize, there was, never mind. Thought we had a mix-up in possession. We did not. Trapper's got some room. A straightaway three, puts it in. Here comes Pompey the other way. Finds Dorian Ivey, who looks to drive, no good. A second look, no good as well. Rebound by Ryan Bradley. Here comes Jace Johnson looking to push in transition. Drives through the lane, left-handed layup, no good, but he regains the basketball and lays it up and in.
He got his own rebound there, but he had Nick McDonald wide open in the corner.
The other way, Pompey looks to drive, finds Bartholomew down low. He could not convert, but a foul is charged to Ryan Bradley.
And he's going to have to come out.
John Evans already over to the scorer's table. Looks like he's going to check in for Bradley. Bartholomew will go to the line and shoot two. First one up and good. Evans does indeed come in for Bradley, who is, as St. Francis had hoped, in foul trouble. Bartholomew's second, no good. Rebound by John Evans. And Austin James now for Canisius. Canisius looks like they're moving a little bit faster. He's got Nick McDonald open for three, puts it in.
Sirica wasn't on him there. Sirica went over to guard Austin James, and no surprise there. Nick McDonald was left wide open for a three.
The matchups and the issues that Canisius presents, you draw your attention to one player and they'll hit you with somebody else. The basketball will go off of Bo Sirica and out of bounds on the offensive end for St. Francis. Canisius will take possession. Austin James moving quickly for Canisius, finds John Evans. Now here comes Jace looking to drive. Trapper a kick out, and he's got a wide open three, and he hits it. And a timeout is called by St. Francis. Canisius 42.
I don't know
St.
why
Francis 24.
I don't know why he doesn't shoot more often, but Brendan Trapper is probably the most underrated shooter on this team. He can knock down a three when he has to.
That was something that we had not seen certainly last year, and you can tell is an expanded part of his game. He has actually shot the three ball very well, and something that we saw, I believe it was the Irondequoit game, that he made a couple of, I think he had one basket, but it was a key three down the stretch to close the gap and eventually allow Canisius to come from behind and win. Trapper, of course, as you said, certainly an underrated three ball, and Canisius looking to push the pace as they are, moving a little bit more quickly, you can see on the offensive end, and it's working.
And getting Trapper involved is going to be key down the stretch, because when teams get so focused on McDonald and Austin James shooting the ball and Ryan Bradley down low, he's going to be left wide open for a lot of shots.
Somebody who probably does not garner a ton of attention, and not that he's the most prolific scorer, but certainly is an unsung hero on the Canisius team, does a good job of rebounding, and like you said, is underrated in shooting the basketball, and somebody who probably is not at the top of the board when you're game planning for Canisius, but I guess that's because you have Jace Johnson, Austin James, and Ryan Bradley, Nick McDonald as well with his shooting ability. So
Canisius is coming out in the 1-2-2 three-quarter court press.
And
an easy turnover.
Intercepted by John Evans. It worked earlier in the game, and it works again here. Austin James, a contested three, but he was a bit too short. Rebound by Pompey. He will slow it down. He thought about pushing the pace, but didn't have any friends to come with him. Thiessen finds an open St. Francis player, no good. That was Dorian Ivy, who missed an open look from three. Ball will go out of bounds, but St. Francis will keep possession. Down by 18 now here early on in the third quarter. Sirica defended by Jace Johnson, as he has been all game, and Jace has won that battle so far. Sirica only has 2 points here in this third quarter. Here comes a drive from Ivy, no good, but Bartholomew had an open look and he missed it point blank, and a rebound Canisius. Here comes Nick McDonald pushing the pace. Canisius moving quickly as they have all second half. McDonald an open three, no good. Evans fights for the rebound, but St. Francis comes away with it. Lucas Thiessen. Pompey now pushing the pace on the other end for St. Francis. Tried to make a pass inside to Bartholomew, had it knocked away, but St. Francis will keep possession. Joshua Palmer checks in for St. Francis. And Connor McCaffrey and Dwayne Voss will check in for Canisius. Palmer, an open look, no good. Rebound by Austin James. He'll push for Canisius. Austin finds McCaffrey on the wing. Thought about a drive, but passed it back to James. Now McCaffrey. Canisius moving the ball around the perimeter, looking for an open man. Austin gets a pick and roll action for Austin James to John Evans rather, and he does a nice job of finishing. Beautiful basketball from the Crusaders on that offensive possession. Here comes Ivy the other way. He got it knocked away, but a foul called, and Canisius has opened a 20-point lead here in the third quarter with 3:26 to go. Pompey finds Thiessen. Sirica now baseline, still defended by Jace Johnson. Looks to drive, but a foul is going to be called
I don't know
on
about
Jace
that
he didn't like. Foul is on the floor. Canisius a 44-24 lead here with 3:19 to go. Thiessen finds Pompey and now Palmer. Defended by McCaffrey. And Ivy goes up and is good on the look baseline. John Evans now. Canisius pushing the pace. Johnson now to Dwayne Voss. St. Francis looking for an answer defensively to Canisius's fast-moving offense here in the second half. Evans is fouled. He tried to go up with the ball in the low post.
They called that set for Evans, thinking he'd get a mismatch down low. He did, but he was fouled.
I think they'll take those looks a majority of the time, though. It was a good high percentage look if Evans had been able to get off a clean shot without being fouled. Austin James now, a jump shot, and straight away, Austin James is in rhythm, and he knocks down that jump shot. St. Francis now the other way. Shot no good from Palmer. But we're going to get a foul called on Canisius. McCaffrey charged for the foul, and Sirica will shoot two. First one is short, no good. Bradley and Trapper will check in for Evans, and we'll see who else goes out. Second one is off the mark as well. That's a rare sight, seeing Sarika miss both. Austin James has got some room in the far corner, and he puts it in. A nice pass from McDonald to create some room and find him a 13-point lead now for Canisius.
You know, when I was talking to Nick McDonald today, he said that Sarika's been injured for about the past 2 weeks. I don't know if that's affected his offensive game much. Doesn't look like it's affected his defense, but he's only got 2 points so far.
And a turnover now for St. Francis as a travel is called on Collins. I wonder if his struggles offensively can be attributed to a potential injury, but I also will point out that I don't think he gets guarded by a guy like Jace Johnson every week, and Jace has done a fantastic job on him, holding him to 2 points here in the third quarter. Ryan Bradley finds McDonald. Good ball movement and a nice cut to the basket from Nick, and an easy bucket.
Great pass from Bradley. He got doubled, and he saw that McDonald was cutting, similar to our play down here when Dwayne Vass made the easy layup.
A foul is called on the other end as Sarika tried to drive. He will go to the free throw line once again. So Sarika becoming a little bit more involved, and as Jace Johnson had checked out, it looks like he will check back in as Coach Husband feels that maybe Sarika getting a little bit too much room on the offensive end. Bo hit his first, and Jace checks in for Austin James. Sarika's second is up and good, 51-28. The Canisius lead inside 2 minutes in the third quarter. Dwayne Voss finds Jace in the post. Jace tries to back down Sarika, but we're going to get a reach-in foul called on the floor by Sarika. Canisius will keep possession. Voss will find Ryan Bradley on the inbound. Kicks it to Johnson, who looks to drive, finds McDonald. He had some room for three, and he is not able to hit, but a nice effort on the offensive glass by Trapper to keep it alive, but it looks like McDonald stepped out of bounds. St. Francis basketball inside a minute. 51-28, the Canisius advantage, as they have really pulled away here in the third quarter. Here comes Dwayne Voss after a St. Francis turnover, a fancy scoop layup. He puts off the glass and in, and what a finish by the sophomore standout. Bo Sarika moves on the perimeter for St. Francis. 4-second difference between shot and game clock. Sarika, a three-pointer, got some room, and he puts it in. That is Sarika's first field goal to push him to 7 points, but Canisius will take Sarika's first field goal coming in the final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Here comes Jace Johnson the other way, finds Trapper. He got some room, and he is not able to finish, but Bradley on the follow as time expires does a nice job, and after 3 quarters of play, a 55-31 lead for Canisius as they are able to create some breathing room here coming out of halftime.
We just want to take a quick minute to give a shout out to one of our Canisius High School alum, his own company, John Lilly, class of 98. Advanced Evaluation Services commercial real estate team is composed of highly trained professionals with over 15 years of evaluation appraisal experience and top-of-the-line academic training. It is our goal to meet and exceed industry standards when it comes to evaluations and appraisals.
Well, if you ever have a need, certainly shout out Mr. Lilly. He's a great guy, so we hope, Mr. Lilly, we hope you're listening. And hopefully we've bought him a little business, so hopefully we did our part. Also, Casa de Cafe going on to support Canisius immersion trips here tonight. So if anybody is interested in stopping in and donating, it will certainly be a help to our immersion trip program. Fourth quarter underway. Canisius a 55-31 lead. Sarika got some room in the far corner, could not finish, but he was fouled by Jace Johnson, so Sarika will go to the line and shoot 3 free throws. Sarika all of a sudden with 7 points and a chance to get it to double digits if he's able to knock down his free throws. First one is good. Sarika's second is good as well. So maybe I shouldn't be impressed because I watch him play all the time, but just a shout out to how well Jace Johnson has played thus far defensively, as Sarika's third is no good. It'll rim out. Something that maybe we take for granted because he's so good. And on the offensive end, Jace cuts through the lane, off the glass and in, finishes. A crafty finish for Jace.
He got down the court in about like 5 seconds.
And now we're going to get St. Francis. Dorian Ivey looked to go up, but he got it blocked away by Ryan Bradley. St. Francis will keep possession, but good job defensively by Canisius and by Ryan Bradley. Here's Ivey, a look at a 3, and it will get a friendly roll and go in. A timeout is called by St. Francis following the 3-point attempt. 57-36, just underway in the fourth quarter, 7:25 remaining. So, Mr. Collins, what have you liked in Canisius creating their separation that they have here in the second half? What do you like out of their game that's allowed them to get to this lead?
Well, it's not over yet. You still got to keep it up for a few more minutes, but they've done a great job really finding the open shot, and obviously you see Jace getting down the court in no time, and they've gotten Nick McDonald some open looks, and they've defended on the other end.
.21 advantage, and Canisius basketball as McDonald will inbound. St. Francis moves to a press look, and Canisius fumbled the ball in the backcourt. Here comes St. Francis off the turnover, a turnaround and a bit of a jump shot for Sarika is good. St. Francis going into full court press here, another turnover and another steal. Thiessen finds Pompey, who thought about a look in the corner. He did not take it rather, and Thiessen will kick it out. Sarika now as St. Francis slows down the pace a little bit. 20 seconds to shoot. Pompey getting a pick, looks to drive, and off the glass, a wild shot, no good, but a rebound by Ivey. That is no good, but the ball will go out of bounds, and they say it's off of St. Francis. St. Francis still in the press. They find Austin James. Canisius has had some trouble defeating this, but now a 2-on-1. Jace Johnson goes up off the glass and in. So Canisius on their third attempt at solving the press, they do. And Jace Johnson gets an easy basket. Thiessen fouled on the floor by, it looks like it was it Bradley? It was Bradley, so he'll get charged with his fourth foul. So Thiessen will go to the line. Thiessen's first is up and good. He has 13 points to lead all St. Francis scorers here tonight. He is averaging 13 a game as he approaches that and now surpasses with 14 points here tonight against Canisius. Jace Johnson now as St. Francis employs that press. He got McDonald's pass was deflected. Jace is going to have to hurry to avoid a 5-second call. They do. A nice pass, a bit of a long pass to Trapper. Bradley finds Austin James on the far corner, far wing. And now finds Jace Johnson to slow down the tempo a little bit as Canisius looks to run some clock and bleed out this game with this advantage. They've got 2 to shoot, 1 to shoot, and Jace Johnson, a three-point shot just at the buzzer is no good. Good defense by St. Francis on that possession. Here comes the other way. Pompey could not hit a three. An air ball from the near corner. Rebound Canisius. McDonald now as Canisius pushes. A jump shot for Bradley. It was contested and way off. Rebound for St. Francis. Pompey the other way. Finds Collins. Now Pompey. And a drive from Ivy as he gets it to go, but an offensive foul is called, and it will be Canisius basketball, no basket.
That's a second charge of the game for Canisius. That'll make the coaching staff pretty happy.
A 19-point advantage for the Crusaders with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. Austin dribbles into the front court, trying to solve the press. McDonald thought about an open three. He didn't take it, looks to drive and kicks out to Austin James. Canisius clearly looking to use the duration of the shot clock. 15 to shoot now. As Chase Johnson directs traffic, defended by Bosarica. Inside now, 5 to shoot. Bradley finds Trapper down the lane, and his shot is no good. Rebound St. Francis. Here comes Thiessen now. St. Francis needs to score quickly. Thiessen made a nice move through the lane, but could not finish. St. Francis wanted a foul, do not get the call. Here comes Jace Johnson, a nice crossover as he attempted to drive, but he got fouled on his way there, a foul on the floor. Canisius struggling a bit to solve that St. Francis trap, but they've been better at it as of late, last few possessions down the court.
It's always going to take a few tries to, find your looks and find your passes and guys open, but.
And St. Francis has done a good job of really being aggressive in that press. They've got one of the better presses that we've seen here this year. Been very effective for a while. Austin James, a jump shot no good, but a rebound by Ryan Bradley. He tried to kick it out, but his pass gets intercepted by Bo Sarica. He makes a nice spin move through the lane. Cannot finish, but is fouled by Dwayne Voss, the lone defender back. Sarica looks like he's a bit shaken up on the play. Massaging his legs. Perhaps an injury there, as you mentioned earlier. 4:05 to go, 19-point lead for Canisius as Sarica cuts it to 18 with his first free throw. 59-41. Sarica's second one rattles out, no good. Rebound by Bradley as Canisius gets to the front court. They tried a trap, but Bradley's able to find an open McCaffrey. They move the ball down to the far corner where Austin James tried a three but could not finish. Here comes St. Francis the other way. Thiessen, a drive, but he is fouled. So a good job by St. Francis to drive, put some stress on the Canisius defense and have opportunities to score while stopping the clock, which is exactly what they need at this juncture in the game, but they're going to have to start making their free throw attempts because that's really what's let them down here in this game.
They're down 18 and there's 4 minutes left. There's not a lot of time, so you got to make every opportunity count.
Especially when the clock is stopped. Free throw is a great way to sort of try and get back into this game, but Thiessen misses his first free throw. They're going to have to, if they want to make a game of this, going to have to start making those free throws, and Thiessen's miss does not help there. Nick McDonald will check out for Canisius. Jace Johnson will check back in. Thiessen's second free throw attempt is up and good. McCaffrey looks to inbound, finds Jace Johnson, who made a nifty move to evade the press. He'll go off the glass, no good, but a nice follow once again by Austin James to clean up the mess on the offensive board. Pompey the other way, drives for St. Francis. He could not finish a contested look inside the lane. Jace Johnson the rebound, and Canisius will set up its offense. Jace looking to maybe kill some time. St. Francis aggressively looking for a steal. Austin James looked to drive, but he got fouled before he could get to the basket. Justin Pompey awarded the foul for St. Francis. 6th team foul for the Red Raiders. Canisius basketball to inbound. Bradley finds Austin James, who had an open look on a jump shot, and that shot has been money all night long. The jump shot going in all night long for Austin James.
One dribble and then pull it up.
Sarica on the other end. A long three-pointer is good over Connor McCaffrey. Timeout called by St. Francis. So Canisius did a very good job of containing Sarica through 3 quarters, only allowing him to score 4 points, but scored 11 down the stretch here in the 4th quarter and getting a bit more involved. He's got 15.
And I think St. Francis would have liked to see this kind of play at the beginning of the game, and maybe they wouldn't be in this position where they are right now.
Nonetheless, a 63-45 advantage for Canisius with 2:54 remaining in the 4th quarter. And I would be remiss to ignore the great play that Austin James has produced down the stretch for Canisius, hustling all over the court and really doing a good job of shooting the jump shots that have been available to him and following on the offensive glass.
You know, with Austin, I think he missed being out there last year for the finals and mostly the second half of the year. So I think he's going to give it all he's got this year for the entire season. And I think when he does, he can be pretty tough to beat.
Austin tried a jump shot in transition after Canisius beat the trap of St. Francis. Austin was not able to connect on about a 15-foot jump shot. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will be St. Francis basketball. Pompey looking to drive. A nifty move, a bit of a Euro step, throws it off the glass and is able to hit the shot. Jace Johnson the other way, driving through the lane, but he cannot finish. He rushed the shot a little bit. Rebound St. Francis. Ivy finds Sarica, another long three. That one no good. Contested well by Austin James, who will move in transition. Austin looks to pass, finds Jace Johnson, who looked to be fouled there, and finally a foul is called. Jace laughing a little bit. Was hoping for a foul call a little bit earlier. I think he should have gotten it. But nonetheless, a foul is eventually called, and Canisius will keep the basketball. Jace will go to the line shooting 1 and 1. Johnson's free throw attempt is off the mark, no good. Rebound St. Francis on the front end of the 1 and 1. Sarica now looks for some space, chucks up a wild three, goes off the backboard and rims out, no good, but an offensive rebound, a nice one by Thiessen. Here comes Pompey through the lane, a nice finish. Canisius the other way. Trapper thought about a shot in the far corner. A nice no-look pass through the lane and a good look from Austin James, finding Ryan Bradley, who is able to finish and one. What a look from Austin James, who's really doing it all tonight. Ish Fairclough will check in for Canisius. Austin James will check out. Minute 35 to go in the game. Canisius a 66-49 advantage. St. Francis on the other end offensively. Foul called on Canisius.
A lot of fouls being called down the stretch.
Well, so much for letting them play. Jace Johnson gets his fourth. Justin Pompey will shoot two. His first is up and good. His second is up and good as well. Pompey has 8 points here tonight. McDonald struggled with the inbound, so he will call a timeout with just under a minute and a half remaining. So it appears that Canisius is going to hold on and win this one, although St. Francis has cut it to 15. So what have you liked from Canisius here in the fourth quarter and sustaining the run that they opened the third with?
Well, I think a theme for Canisius all year has been a really strong third quarter. And I think that when they start the third quarter strong and get off to a run, it kind of ruins the other team's momentum completely. So when you come out and you go on a run like that, it's kind of hard to come back from. And you've seen that tonight with St. Francis. Bosa Rica's tried to come back, but it's not going to be enough tonight.
Something that St. Francis certainly had the momentum going into the locker room at halftime, and Canisius did a really great job of coming out fast and furious and really just stopping any momentum that the Red Raiders had. Here comes McDonald off the inbound, finds Bradley, and he walked. So another turnover against this press for Canisius. Pompey, nice spin move, finds Collins open on the near wing, cannot finish, but an offensive rebound from a great rebounder and a scrappy player in Pompey, but he is not able to finish. We're going to get a foul called on St. Francis. It's on Thiessen. And Bradley will shoot 1 and 1 with just over a minute to go. Bradley's first is up and good. And there is the magic number for Canisius in Western New York, 67 points as Bradley knocks home the first free throw. His second is good as well. Except their thrilling come-from-behind win against Irondequoit earlier this season. Canisius has scored at least 67 points in every Western New York contest that it has played this season. Pompey finds Collins, who had some room but traveled. It'll be Canisius basketball. Andrew Hartnett will check in for Brendan Trapper, whose night appears to be done. Trapper doing a very nice job of adding some shooting, some three-point shooting to the Canisius attack on the offensive side of the ball. Ish Fairclough now escaping the press, finds Hartnett, who's got some got all kinds of room. He'll go off the glass and in and finish for his first points of the game. Pompey finds Thiessen.
And another foul.
And another foul is called. Thought he might have traveled there even before the foul was called. No call on the travel, a call on the foul. Thiessen will go and shoot 2. First free throw is up and good. Thiessen has 16 points here tonight as Canisius looks like they will empty the bench. Joe Agrando and Thiessen the second one, no good. Agrando the rebound. McCaffrey. And a foul is going to be called on Noah Unger, who has entered the game for St. Francis. Both teams emptying the bench with Canisius up 70-52, an 18-point lead with less than 30 seconds remaining. Jason Martin at the line shooting 2. Jason's first is no good, a bit too strong. Martin's second is good. Collins moves to Unger, defended by Agrando. Miller sets a pick in a pick and roll action. And Riley Miller is able to finish inside 10 seconds. Jason Martin finds McCaffrey with 3 seconds and 2, and Agrando will dribble this one out. Canisius, a 71-54 victory over the St. Francis Red Raiders here tonight.
You know, it was close for a little bit, 7 points at half, but Canisius does what it always does. Finds a way to pull ahead in the third quarter, and it wasn't enough for St. Francis in the end.
I really enjoyed the pace with which Canisius came out in the third quarter. I think that was a key for them. They played so fast, something that I hadn't seen, especially not in the first half, really at all this year. They did a great job of coming out and playing so fast in that second half, and you could tell it just put so much stress on the St. Francis defense.
And a focus for them should be coming out with that at the beginning of the game. If they can come out at the beginning of the game.
Shout out to Canisius courtside.
Jace Johnson joining us. Jace, we appreciate the shout out as well. Now everybody with the game over coming to bother us as we finish up our cast. Players walk off the court. Canisius, the 71-54 victory. That was close for a while, especially in
baseball, baby.
as they're giving Jack some love, the former basketball player, for them. So Jack, what did you like overall? What was your favorite part of the Canisius performance here tonight?
They came out a little flat, but in the second half we saw that they, with the reemergence of Ryan Bradley coming out of foul trouble, they were able to get Awesome James some good looks, some Nick McDonald some good looks when Bo Sarica wasn't on him, and then Jace Johnson obviously doing what he does best, driving to the lane, finding the open man, and St. Francis had no answer for Canisius' offense.
So how did they carry that into a game tomorrow against Cardinal O'Hara, and probably more importantly, a game on Tuesday against Park?
Well, just keeping their focus every day through tomorrow against O'Hara and then the next few days for practice, really just zoning in on what they have to do and remembering what Park was so great at doing, their shooting and their defense and how well they matched up. They've got to try to find every advantage possible because it's going to be a tight one.
So I'll put you on the spot, and I thank you, of course, for joining me. I really enjoyed your first broadcast. I hope you did as well. I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Do you have an MVP for tonight's game?
Today, my MVP is Jay Johnson because of his consistent play that he's shown all year. And there was no answer for St. Francis to guard him one-on-one. And obviously he did a great job shutting down Varsity in the first half, which was an obvious key for them.
So I'm going to go a little bit off the grid. I'm going to go with Austin James. It's going to be a shock to everybody I know. Austin did a fantastic job of finishing and being, so we get some more love. Austin did a great job of finishing on the offensive end and had some really nice effort plays to follow with offensive rebounds. So Austin is my player of the game tonight. So before we sign off, we would like to thank Jacob Hoak, who was our cameraman, did a great job, and also our production manager, Mr. Bill Blank. So for Jack Collins, I am Nick DeLuca. We thank you for joining us here tonight. A convincing 71-54 victory for the Canisius Crusaders.
Peace.